I'm furious with myself for seeing it and not understanding. By Christopher Bloodworth. My grandmother, Mina, was the most important person in my life until about 8 months ago. That was when I met my girlfriend, Stacy. I paint, and Stacy found me through DeviantArt. We exchanged messages there for a few weeks before I finally bucked up the courage to ask her for her Skype info. In the beginning, we only talked about art. Our favorite artists, which periods we'd enjoyed the most, our own creative dreams. Talking about art turned into flirting, turned into serious interest, turned into long-distance dating. Eventually, we made plans to meet in person. With her living in St. Louis and me living in Houston, that wasn't easy. Neither one of us makes a lot of money off our art, not yet at least, but there's always that glowing coal in our bellies that makes us think we will, eventually. Hopefully. After scraping enough money together to buy a plane ticket, the plan was for me to fly up to see her for a whole week. That way we could gauge whether or not we truly fit together. A whole week in St. Louis meant that I had to leave Mina alone. I should explain. My parents died in a car accident when I was little. No need to apologize, as I don't remember them at all. I see them in photos around my grandmother's house, but they're strangers to me. My grandmother, she's the one that raised me. When she had a stroke, it became my job to take care of her. The stroke left her catatonic. Some people have told me that someone catatonic can see and hear in this condition. Others say it's just blackness, like sleeping, without the dreams. I've always tended to side with the seeing and hearing camp. Mina always told me that deciding to pull the plug on my parents was the most horrific decision she'd ever made, and if I were ever in her position, I was to keep her alive for as long as money allowed. She has more than enough money, so I'll never have to worry about making that decision. A nurse, his name is Cancio, stops by at her house every day for an hour to take care of her. But let's be honest, Cancio's attention is split between however many patients he's caring for, and my attention is only on her. I didn't always hang out in her room when he was there. I usually left him alone and let him do his work so he could get on to his next patient. When I was with them both, Cancio taught me how to do several things. How to give a sponge bath, how to clean any blood or saliva that leaked around the hole that she got as a result of her tracheotomy, how to change a catheter, etc., etc., etc. Every day after work, I would drive to her house. She's only a block away, so it's easy to spend time with her. Stacy and I would sometimes Skype when I was over. I even introduced Stacy to Mina over Skype so they could both see each other. Stacy talked to my grandmother like Mina could understand her, and that really hit home for me. A lot of times when people met her, they just talked really loudly. You know, like those people that don't speak a native language and they think that yelling in English louder and slower with each repetition will clear things up. Stacy didn't do that, and I appreciated it way more than she'll ever know. The last week in St. Louis went better than I even expected. While I was there, I realized that I loved Stacy. I'd just gotten out of a serious multi-year relationship with a girl who was emotionally and verbally abusive. After her, I went through several girls, each more broken than the last, before realizing that, although they each had their own issues, the real problem was me. I was dodging girls that had it all together, and I was picking the damaged ones. This was my own fault. Stacy was complete, and I loved that I didn't have to change myself to fit her mold of what I should be. I didn't have to walk on eggshells with what I said or deal with her wanting to be drunk or high 24/7. It was nice to be myself. That quote that I always used to roll my eyes at comes to mind, but I don't roll my eyes anymore. Cue the puking, because Stacy felt like home. Stacy was the one I wanted to be with. Over the following months, Stacy and I talked every day. We planned out her move to Houston. She applied to a million places and got rejected a million times. But she finally got a job and everything sped up. She moved here in late April. We were both beyond excited. Instead of living 12 hours away, now Stacy only lived 30 minutes away. We spent almost every day with each other. That meant I was spending less and less time with Mina. Occasionally, when I got to spend time with her, she seemed listless. I know that seems like a silly thing to say. She's catatonic. How could she be anything but listless? But she was. It went the opposite way, too. I could tell that she seemed to perk up when I brought Stacy around. Mina got sick 2 weeks ago. Stacy and I took her to the hospital, and the doctor said that she had a minor lung infection, but it was nothing to worry about. He said there was some irritation around the place where she had her tracheotomy, and he assured that it was nothing to worry about. Mina got better within a few days, and everything seemed to go well until Wednesday. When I went to visit her that night, she was pale and hardly breathing. Blood dripped down her neck, dotting the white pillow on either side. My grandmother died that night, and I truly believe that she waited until I found the person I was meant to be with. She wanted to see me happy before she left. That's the part that hurts the most. See, I showed Mina a picture of every girl I was dating or even thinking about dating. When she saw the picture, she would either sigh through her catatonia or do nothing at all. When I introduced her to Stacy over Skype for the first time, I could swear she hummed a single note. It was high and sweet and reminded me of all the times she'd be cooking dinner for us in the kitchen and just humming up a storm, happy in her own little world of garlic and olive oil and family. My grandmother went through hell while she patiently waited for me to find my other half. When the doctor told me she died, he also asked a few bizarre questions, and I didn't understand them at first. But when I found out that I'd been helping Cancio kill the woman that raised me, I wanted to die myself. When the doctor told me that he'd found semen in my grandmother's lungs, I realized that when Cancio taught me how to clean up Mina's trach hole, he also taught me how to clean up after he'd finished with her.